Ladies and gentlemen, what a beautiful day we have here. I want to announce we are not in Indiana. We are not in Michigan. We are in Illinois. And we are in the best spot in Illinois. We are in Bolingbrook, Illinois. And the reason we are here is we are to welcome into our community and to the Bolingbrook Area Chamber of Commerce a significant and prized employer that employs over 500 employees globally. G&W Electric, located here in the heart of the industrial park of Bolingbrook on Crossroads Parkway. I am Ken McConaughey, chairman of the board of the Bolingbrook Area Chamber of Commerce, a vice president with Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, and I'm more excited about this than the S&P staying above 1298. Since G&W Electric announced to come to Bolingbrook, they've employed over 30 employees locally. 13 have received a relocation package to come into our community. And right behind us, there are 3 employees from Bolingbrook High School working in this location. I want to announce, yes, along with me from our chamber board is George Prim from Citibank, our past chairman, who's going to leave us July 1. Let's give him a hand. Pat Fiacato from Nancy's Pizza. She'd love to serve lunch for your employees. She is. All right. Mir Ali from the Shamrock Corporation, the Taco Bell in town. He also could feed the employees as they tour around. And of course, our Mike Evans, our president and CEO. And coming on the board since July 1 is Tom Wilhelm from Allegra Printing. And now I'm going to present the principals that are here. There's many employers, over 500 employees. Don't have them all here because they're scattered across the globe. But we have John Mueller, the chairman of the board, and Jim Solari. Jim is the president, and I'm going to give you my official promise that moving to Bolingbrook will increase your business at least 20%. Of course, I know last year you did better than that, right? So 20% is probably no big deal. Chicken feed. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to turn the program over to probably the one person who is responsible for G&W Electric coming to this community. The man who made the difference. Our mayor, Roger C. Clare.
Wow. Wow. I honestly, I really appreciate that, Ken. I've known Ken for a long time, but there was a whole team of people that made this thing work, and I'll be mentioning more about those later. But I got to make one other comment. nor are we in Wisconsin. However, we perhaps could trade governors. Sorry, Larry. I couldn't help myself. Anyway, I don't know if there's a mayor in North America, perhaps worldwide, that would not be envious of my position here today to welcome a company of this stature, the number of employees, the great jobs, the international presence, than myself. And I've been looking forward to this a very long time. And the guy next to me is John Mueller, the chairman of the board. When I met John, he was just a lowly president and CEO. A couple of months later, we had a meeting, and now he's chairman of the board. Now, I have learned over the years that one of the differences between those two positions is as chairman of the board, you get to play a lot more golf.
I wish that was true. I was actually hoping to play more golf when Jim became president, but with our business growth and the move and everything else, I've significantly reduced my golf rounds. But that's okay. It's for a worthy cause.
It starts tomorrow.
Yeah, it starts tomorrow.
I just wanted to ask the one question that a lot of people might want to know, and I know you maybe want to comment on it later, so if you would, just maybe a couple of words, but you did have the choice of a lot of locations, and a lot of people wanted you very badly, and of course the whole team of people that helped get you here will be mentioned or talked about or maybe talking later. But have you had any regrets about the move?
No. Coming to Bolingbrook it's been a great experience. I think you'll really like the building. I can tell you this, Lee Valent, who's our receptionist, the first day here, she cried the entire day because she was so happy to be here. So she thinks she's in a country club now. You walk in the morning and Lee's at the front desk and she just goes, "It's another beautiful day in Bolingbrook." So I can tell you without a doubt, we have some employees in Indiana who have very, very long commutes, but they're so happy to come to this facility, to come to Bolingbrook, that they've decided that driving an hour is not that big of a deal. That's driving an hour one way. So, I mean, that says a lot about the community here, our new facility, and our employees and our customers. So it's been a great experience.
Just one more comment, and we'll cut this ribbon and go inside for the official program. But driving an hour, that's almost like driving the loop. Well, I've done it. I get to do it tomorrow morning at 6:30. I was talking earlier about how much we as a city, and every city, loves to have corporate headquarters. You know, in addition to the nice sound, our corporate headquarters located in Bolingbrook. And I said, that's mainly because, you know, if you just get a branch of a business or a business from somewhere else that just has one distribution center here, they can move that every 5 or 10 years. And they do. They replace them. But at corporate headquarters, they don't leave. But Jack Kelly said it best right before we started. Your secretary of the board here said, no, in order for them to leave, they really have to screw up. So we welcome you. I think, Ken, your 20% was a little on the shy side. We want them to do a lot better than that. The more money you make, the more money we make. Thank you for picking Bolingbrook. We got the scissors. Now, no, yeah. Just put your hand up there. Okay. All right, we do this on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Serious pair of scissors.
Yeah.
We believe we have everybody in here. That's awesome. We were a little worried about that. My name's Tim Foley. I'm the VP of Sales and Marketing here at G&W. And we've got a short program here today. We're going to have a few speakers. John Mueller, our owner and chairman, Mayor Claire, and U.S. Representative Judy Biggert to kind of commemorate and talk about the pretty momentous day here as a grand opening. So I want to welcome all of our guests and all of our first shift employees. Thanks for coming. It's an interesting day. I think our agenda will be short. Our goal is to have maybe a half hour of conversation here, discussion, presentation, and then we've got plant tours planned for all of our guests. If you'd like a tour of our plant, we've got that arranged. And then everybody gets lunch. Our employees will have lunch out on the shop floor because we're using their lunchroom right now. And we're also going to have lunch out on the shop floor if you're willing to stay with us. So you'll see that a little later on. But right now, what I'd like to do is introduce John Mueller, and love working for you, man.
Okay. Thanks, Tim. I want to thank Tim Foley and Kathy Ramsey and pretty much all the G&W employees for setting all of this up. We had all of our employees in on Saturday and their families. We had 450, 460 people showed up on Saturday afternoon for our open house. It was a great event. Had live music from Pete Gorecki, our facilities guy. His 14-piece band played for us. It was a good deal. We should have him play all day. Anyway, I wander around when I talk, so I'm supposed to be near this microphone here, but it's probably not going to happen. Anyway, first of all, who's never been to a ribbon cutting ceremony before? Raise your hand. Okay. Who's never written a ribbon cutting speech before? Raise your hand. Okay, good. All right, well, I'm in good company then. I'm going to get a little emotional. Yesterday was the 78th birthday of my father, who died on May 3rd. Anyway, in December of '77, my father and Jack Kelly, where's Jack? Jack's in the front row here, and a couple of their buddies, or I'll call them cohorts in crime. They took a chance on a failing electrical company called G&W Electric. And the bank, the Northern Trust Bank had taken it over in the fall of '77. Asked my dad to go check it out because he had been given a lead parachute from Motorola and didn't have a job. And my mom was getting tired of seeing him at home. Anyway, he came down to Blue Island and checked the place out, and the banker friend, I think, who was part of this syndicate, basically, looked at my dad and Jack Kelly and a few other people and said, "Well, you want to buy it?" And my dad's like, "Well, I don't have any money." And then they're like, "Oh, no problem, we'll loan you the money." He had no credit. I was in college at the time. Two kids were in high school, and then so he took a chance. And then in 1987, he took a chance on me. Anyway, first of all, I want to talk about some great support. This is like kind of the past stuff. We've been very fortunate. We had a guy who's not here today, Mick O'Rourke, took a chance on us and have provided great banking relationships to allow us to do what we needed to do. McGladdery in Poland. I don't know if I don't know if Dave Peterson's here, but I know Tony Burke's here. McGladdery in Poland has been our accounting firm for 20 years, at least 20 years, and they've done a great job. And then, last but not least, over the past, this is my 25th year. We've had incredible legal advice from Jack Kelly and his firm Kelly Olson, Michaud, DeHaan, and Richter. The names have changed over the years a little bit, but the first name on the list is always Jack Kelly. And Jack Kelly's he's been our secretary of the corporation for 35 years. So he's been providing incredible legal advice, but more importantly, he's provided world-class business advice, and he's been a second father to me. Okay, so why did we move? We were in Blue Island for 55 years. Is Joe Hill still here? Where's Joe? Raise your hand, Joe. No, Joe, stand up. Actually, Joe, stand. There he is, Joe Hill. Joe's been with us 57 years. 56 or 57. He started with us at 7780 Dante in 1955 or 56, before we moved to Blue Island. Then he spent his entire career in Blue Island. We thought he was going to retire. That didn't come out right, Joe. Joe lives in the city, so it was it was an easy commute to Blue Island and a much more difficult commute to Bolingbrook. But he's still with us. We have no retirement policy here. You have to work forever. And Joe's taken it to the nth degree. So thanks a lot, my friend. So anyway. So Mayor Claire and Jack Kelly were talking about corporate headquarters and stuff like that. Well, moving is traumatic, especially if you go on the tour. When you see what you see here, you'll know why it was so traumatic to move. But we had to move because we've grown 285% since 2002. And I think when this year's over, it'll be something like 300% or 320%. I haven't done the math yet. But we were investing in our people. We've always invested in our people. We invest in R&D. We always invest in R&D. We have a good strategic plan that we've been working since 1991, and our strategic planning process has become world-class. We've invested in equipment. You'll see that out on the shop floor. And we flat ran out of room in Blue Island. We had 120,000 square feet. We had stuff all over in the yards, in the parking lots. The employees had no place to park. We were removing offices to put in equipment and telling people to go find a desk somewhere. It was non-air conditioned. It was a dump. And boy, oh boy, you should see what 55 years of dust bunnies look like. We're not talking dust bunnies. We're talking dust dinosaurs. It's amazing that we got anything done in that facility. In this facility, this is temperature and humidity controlled, so the entire workforce is working in a nice environment. And after we've had 6 or 8 90-degree days, our chilled air conditioning system for this 377,000 square foot facility is working pretty good, and I think most of our employees are pretty happy about that. So that's the reason why we moved. Now let's talk about the search. The search has been going on for 6 or 7 years. We've been looking, at various buildings, but the search got real serious in probably get my years mixed up because I can't remember anything anymore, but around in 2010 it became really serious. And we went to Indiana, we went to Wisconsin. I get letters every day from North Dakota, South Dakota, pick a state. I haven't gotten one from Alaska. Although I did meet a woman from Montana who wanted us to move to Montana. The total population in the county was 15,000 people, so I wasn't sure they could handle a company of 400. Well, we have 400 people here, by the way. We have over 600 people worldwide. We manufacture. This is our U.S. operations. We have a wonderful operation in Mississauga, Ontario. We have a world-class operation in Pudong, China, across the river from Shanghai, where we have 80 to 90 awesome employees and have been there for 16 years now. We also have a great operation in San Luis Potosí, Mexico, and we have a software operation in Macedonia. There will be a test about where Macedonia is after the plant tour. So we were looking. Because of our employee base, we have a lot of employees in Indiana, and we have a lot of employees up in the Lake County area. We looked at the 3 states, and Wisconsin came in first, Indiana came in second, and Illinois was nowhere near first and second. The performance put on by Wisconsin and Indiana was both those 2 states put on a world-class presentation to us, and a bunch of my welders were dying to move to Wisconsin because they're big hunters. But when it was all said and done, with our explosive growth, double-digit growth, and our commitment to our employees, by going to another state, we would have been walking away from, pick a number, 20%, 30%, 40% of our employees, we would have left them. And that's not how we operate. Our employees always come first. Now, people say, well, what about the customer? Well, that's like the chicken and the egg. What came first? You got to have great customers, then you can have great employees. You got to have great employees to get great customers. And G&W is very fortunate to have both of those. So we decided to stay in Illinois, and we focused on Will County. So at this point, I'd like to, well, okay, and first of all, I want to put in a little pitch for Payne Wetzel and a guy named Ed Wapik. He is, oh, that's, thanks, Tim. Ed Wapik is, he is the god of commercial real estate brokers in the Chicago metropolitan area, and he worked with us tirelessly. We walked through a lot of buildings. It's kind of like looking for a house, I guess. Ed did an amazing job, and then it came down to a couple different facilities, and we found this shell, and believe me, it was just a shell, and just a big box. And between Mayor Claire and John Grueling, who's the president and CEO of Will County Economic Development, those two guys basically did everything in their powers to get us to come to Bolingbrook. So that's how we ended up in Bolingbrook. Now, how to pay for this? We're a privately owned company. I fundamentally, for the past few years, we've had no debt. My brother and I operate a business that are profitable. We've always invested our funds back into the company, into our employees, into our machinery, into our customers. This is going to be the biggest purchase we've ever made. And that's where I want to thank, and I'm going to get his name wrong, Warren Ribley. Right? Warren Ribley, State of Illinois, the EDGE tax credits, and Governor Quinn. And then, second of all, a federal program called the Recovery Zone Bonds, and that's let's call them RZBs. That was a little-known program, unfortunately not used by most of the United States, but it was money given to counties to help grow business, develop business during the recession. And luckily, we had picked the right banker in Jim Vail from J.P. Morgan Chase, who knew he had done an RZB deal in DuPage, and he goes, well, Will County has an untapped fund that nobody's used any of the money in Will County, and I might not be totally accurate, but we decided to buy this building, and in less than 30 days, Jim Vail, John Sachs, our CFO, Jim Solari, and a host of legal people from Jack Kelly's firm and other law firms, we were able to do the most amazing thing to I don't know what the proper term is, to close on these recovery zone bonds, which allowed us to buy this building. And buying the building wasn't a big deal. It's how much we put into changing this shell into what you see here. It was 2.6 to 2.8 times more than the actual cost of the building. And when you walk through, you'll appreciate that. But so my heart, Jim Vail and all the guys who worked on the recovery zone bonds, that was absolutely huge. And plus, we had great work from Dave Peterson and McGladdery and Poland helping us with with the EDGE tax credits, and on and on and on. So then we got the move. We had to put the move team together. And Gary Smith, why don't you come up here, Gary? Gary Smith runs the most profitable, the safest foundry in a 5-state area. Our foundry is still in our facility in Blue Island. So that's his day job. He runs, during the recession and all this time, Gary's foundry has continued to bring on new customers. They got another patent, finally, in a lead-free brass. And this guy, then Jim Solari said, oh, the foundry doesn't need you. They're doing just fine. And so picked Gary to be the head of the move team. So this is the guy who carried the heavy weight for the entire process of the move. And he had a great team working for him, Joe Polini and all of the executive staff, Pete Gerke and the whole crew, man. These are the guys who basically envisioned this, along with Epstein. Let's not forget Epstein, who's right up in front here. Epstein, who was the architect and the general construction manager and so forth. They turned this shell into a world-class headquarters, and Gary was, led the charge the entire way. So let's give Gary a big round of applause. And in fact, we're joking, but not kind of, sort of. We need to start assembling product in Brazil. Our largest Viper customer is now a utility in Brazil, and Brazil has really high tariffs to get into the country. And so if we can assemble in Brazil, we can reduce our incoming tariff costs by 60 to 70%, some ridiculous number. So anyway, and so we're joking that Gary needs to learn Portuguese. And he does love beef, so it's perfect. All right? Anyway, last but not least on the move team, I want to thank Commonwealth Edison, Mike Guerrero, and a whole mess of Tyler Anthony's here today from Commonwealth Edison. This facility did not have enough electricity. So they had to build a brand new line from the south. What is that town south of us? Romeoville. I didn't mean it that way. I just forgot. Anyway, Commonwealth Edison had to put in a brand new distribution line to feed this facility because we use about 3 or 4 megawatts of power, which totally exceeded the substation capabilities here in Bolingbrook. So we thank Commonwealth Edison for putting in that line, and now we have lights here. So winding down here, project had a few bumps in the road. Really no surprise. That's perfect. We spent a little more money than we wanted to, but that's our, thanks, Sue. Anyway, in conclusion, there's a few things I just want to thank. I want to thank our board of directors, and 3 of them are here today, by the way. Jack Kelly, Tom Oliveri, who's a COO of First Bank of Highland Park, and I probably got that wrong. And then John Behrens, who is our retired CFO, is also here from our board. So our board of directors have been amazing support people and providing awesome guidance. And then I have a group called my advisory board. They're just a bunch of knuckleheads that meet once a month, and we try to help each other with each other's businesses. And it's a great group of 9 guys, and they've been a tremendous help. Next is my executive staff. From Jim Solari, Kathy Ramsey, Gary Smith, Tim Foley, Don Martin, John Peterson, John Saxa, Jeffrey Chow, who runs our Chinese operation. We have the finest, we're not the biggest, but we have the finest executive staff on the planet Earth. Our employees are the greatest bunch of people on the planet. Every day, I love coming to work, and if I'm having, it's kind of like for those of you who had kids, when you had a baby or whatever, and you had a bad day at work, you just went home and had your kid throw up on you, and it just made you smile, or change the diaper. I was very good at changing diapers, by the way, and we're talking cloth diapers. Anyway, I did poke them a few times, but anyway. Whenever, if I'm having a bad day, I just go out on the plant floor, because, well, you'll meet a lot of our employees. They're the greatest on the plant. We also have awesome customers. Our customers, when we get it right, they show us loyalty like no other customer. I'll just give you one example, Southern California Edison. In 1996, they took a chance on us through a strategic sourcing program. And they said, basically, if you don't screw up, you have the business for 5 years. Well, we didn't screw up. Then the second 5 years went by, then the third 5 years went by, and Southern California Edison, who is currently our largest customer, has 40,000 G&W switches, and we do about $18 million a year with them, and they never go out to bid on anything they buy from us. Now, when they say jump, it ain't about how high. It's whether is it to the moon, Venus, Mars, or whatever. We've even offered to put in video cameras in their dedicated cell so they could watch their product being built every month. And we've actually talked about that. But anyway, so we have awesome customers and we thank them. And then last but not least, John Grueling and Mayor Claire for welcoming us into Will County and Bolingbrook. You guys are the best. And my wife, I tried to talk her into coming today, but she just we have 3 kids, teenagers and whatever, so. Anyway, my wife, Ann, has been the rock the past 2.5 years. I've lost both my mother and my father. And she's been absolutely, believe me, we go out on date night and all I do is talk about business. And she's a great ear. She's helped me be able to take care of G&W's dynamic growth, and she's been able to manage the home front and raising 3 young adults. So anyway, thank you very much. And with that, I want to bring up Mayor Claire.
Thank you, John. It's pretty easy to see why this company is so successful, and it'll never happen again, John. But if there's another ribbon cutting, by the way, I'd like to be at that ribbon cutting in Brazil. But do the mayor a favor in Brazil. Let him go first. You're almost impossible to follow. I mean, the compassion and interest and love he has for this company and the employees is clear. I want to quickly introduce them. Well, there's a couple people I'd like to introduce. I'm going to start by introducing my wife, who doesn't come to maybe 1 out of 200 ribbon cuttings, but she's heard me talk about G&W so much, so she wanted to see this place, and she had the opportunity to meet several of you last week, but my wife, Pat Claire, is with us today. Okay, stand up, stand up, stand up. Now, the rest are elected officials and so forth. If you'd hold your applause till I'm done, that'll save us a little bit of time. Our village clerk, Carol Pinning's with us. Our village trustee, Pat Shanks. Trustee Sandy Swinkunis. Some people that really helped at our end and staff-wise. Jim Bowen, our village attorney, was very, very helpful. Kevin McCarthy is our police chief. You all want to get a good look at this guy. And if you need an ambulance, this guy's Fire Chief Dave Litton. Mike Dreher, Director of Public Works. Dennis Kowalczyk, Director of Community Development. Brenda Ladipo, our IT Director. A man that's not here that was also very helpful and spent a lot of time on this project is Dan Bonamini. I don't know if I didn't see Dan. Maybe I don't see him now either, but was very helpful. Our Township Supervisor, Bill Mayer. Township Trustee, Alicia Benford. From Will County, we have our Will County Executive, Larry Walsh. We have our State Senator, Pat McGuire. He had to leave, I believe, at 10. Oh, he's still there. Good to see you, Pat. State Senator Pat McGuire. Well, I didn't see you. You know, that gray hair blends into that gray wall. Don't challenge the guy with the mic. Our state representative, Emily McCasey. Village Bolingbrook Park District, Jerry Hicks. And I don't think I missed anybody. If I did, somebody will. Oh, well, she's speaking next. All right, Congresswoman Judy Biggert. I think the motto I saw up here, I was sitting listening to John, engineered to order, built to last. That is excellent. That really says a lot too. Just a very impressive company that we have the largest turnout of local officials and so forth that I think we've ever had at a ribbon cutting. And that's because they wanted to see this place, and of course, free food. Couldn't. And by the way, for those of you that aren't familiar with this building, it was an empty shell. And again, a lot of the buildings built in Bolingbrook over the last 15, 20 years were shells because they were basically distribution centers, didn't need a lot of electricity. And this, what used to be here was the Beanie Baby warehouse. This used to be full of hundreds of thousands of Beanie Babies. In fact, they used to hire a police department when they had the Princess Di Beanie Baby because they were retailing, or actually not retailing, they were selling for as much as $100 to collectors. So they actually had heavy security here protected. Now, as I said a moment ago before we cut the ribbon, this is a world-class company doing business all over the world. Fabulous for Bolingbrook. I really appreciate a note I believe I got from Jim when you sent out your first shipment out of here with the Bolingbrook return address on there. It was a great day for us, and we hope it was and is a great day for you. The ComEd comment, ComEd was very helpful. I got the call that the building was ID'd as a place they'd like to be, but there wasn't enough power, and if that wasn't resolved, it was a deal breaker. So I called a good friend of mine for many, many years, a guy named John Hooker, who's a senior vice president at ComEd. He assembled a team. We had, in the office, at least 10 officials from ComEd who came out, worked on the problem. We had 2 separate meetings, I believe. The plan got done in less than 2 weeks. So I compliment ComEd for stepping up to the plate. I had not had a chance to meet Tyler Anthony's with us today from ComEd, but Katie Mayer and Mike Guerrero were also very helpful. Is Mike here? I was told he might be here also. And of course, Will County, Larry Walsh, very helpful. And of course, John Grueling with the Will County CED. John and I worked on several projects. This is one of the premier projects, but they're all in their own little way very premier because we have a lot of business here in town. We're very proud of all of them. A couple of comments about corporate headquarters again. We have several corporate headquarters now. We do love corporate headquarters. WeatherTech's a corporate headquarters in town. The floor mat people, we got ATI Physical Therapy, Quantum Foods, probably our largest employer, with about 1,200 employees. Windy City Wire, Midwest Fuel, and one that a lot of you are familiar with, Alta Products. Their corporate headquarters here with 600 employees. So we're very proud of all of them, and of course we've got others like R.R. Donnelly and Honeywell. So it's a great business community. It's good for everybody. It's good for the taxing bodies, of course, to provide the revenue, to provide the great public services, but most importantly, it provides jobs. You know, it seems like the GNW has been here for years already. That's how much they've immersed and entrenched themselves in the community of Bolingbrook. Very active in the chamber, very active with local groups, gave a generous donation this past week to Boy Scouts of America, one of the greatest organizations in the world, over 100 years old, and it's good for young men. As I've often said, if every young man were involved in Boy Scouts, we probably wouldn't need a third of our police department. That's how great I believe it, and we thank you for stepping up and helping out the Boy Scouts. And again, active in the chamber, but it's all about jobs. These are great jobs here. And of course, the question that keeps getting asked across this country, we keep losing manufacturing jobs to Mexico and to China and to India and other Asian countries. We can manufacture in Bolingbrook. GNW has proven that. That's because of great leadership, but great employees. I would concur with that. So again, thank you for picking Bolingbrook. We're thrilled that you're here, and I'm looking forward to the complete tour. Thank you very much.
Oops. All right. House Representative Judy Bigger. Welcome to GNW.
Thanks so much, John. Speaker John Boehner is going to be in town in August. I hope you get a chance to meet him if you haven't met him already, because when he speaks, we always put a Kleenex on the podium. So. But thank you so much for inviting me to today's ribbon cutting. Your new facility certainly is impressive, but what I think is so remarkable is that GNW has experienced tremendous growth in a very, very difficult economy. Businesses all across the nation are closing up shop and downsizing, but G&W is leading the charge in manufacturing, research, and development, and that's so important. We are so pleased also that you've chosen Bolingbrook as the location for your new world headquarters. So the community is certainly happy to see you, and I can remember when I first moved out to this area, Bolingbrook was old Chicago, and I used to bring my little kids out to the amusement park, and that's the first indoor amusement park, and that's what I always thought of Bolingbrook until Mayor Claire got a hold of it. And really, I want to applaud him for, and the City Council for all their hard work in making Bolingbrook a great destination for your new facility. And as you continue powering the world with electric equipment on nearly every continent, I guess it is every continent, we hope that even Antarctica, we hope that your success will bring a jolt to the local economy here in our region. Please help us. And it's thanks to century-old leaders like G&W that our nation became the world's largest manufacturing economy. But as you know, there's countries like China and Japan that are trying to catch us, and competition is fierce. We all know that China has said their goal is to overtake us in the economy, and we just can't let that happen, and you certainly are helping. So that's why it's so important that Congress works with our partners in American manufacturing to create an environment where businesses like yours can thrive. And in fact, just last week, nearly 400 members of the National Association of Manufacturing came to Washington to meet with lawmakers and advocate for pro-growth policies that will lead us to what we call a manufacturing renaissance. So I'm focusing on working across the aisle to make this goal a reality, and to do that, Congress must simply simplify the tax code, advance a predictable all of the above energy strategy, and keep America's workforce the best in the world through a strong education system. And I look forward to hearing your input about what else Congress can do to help G&W continue to grow. Your industry is particularly important. Our energy dependence is both an economic and a security, national security threat. And I firmly believe that the best solutions that come to us from advanced energy technologies like wind, solar, geothermal, and the next generation of clean nuclear power that your industry brings to us. So for those of you who don't know, I serve on the Science, Space, and Technology Committee, and diversifying our nation's energy supply through research and development has always been a passion that I share with you. And that's why I'm so pleased you'll be developing these new innovations right here in Bolingbrook. And I'd also like to commend you for your sustainability efforts. I know that you're waiting on either a silver or gold LEED certification. And so it's clear that you're not just manufacturing green parts, you're leading by example. So with that, let me just say welcome to the 13th Congressional District. This will be the 13th Congressional District through December, and then it will change to the 11th Congressional District. And so let me just say that this is just more than cutting the, I thought I was going to say a red bow, but it wasn't a red bow. It was a multicolored bow. And it's a celebration of G&W's success and the jobs that come with it. So please don't hesitate to call me if I can be of any assistance to you. And I know you'll be talking to the mayor again. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much. John, great comments, Mayor and Congressman Biggert. We really appreciate you joining us today and for your kind words. It was a wonderful morning.